Hello, dear community. I warmly welcome you to our Brutkasten-Talk. Today, we will find out more about the new acceleration program for startups that the Austrian Development Agency, the Austrian high-tech incubator INiTS, and the Impact Hub Vienna has launched together. The aim of the program, which is called validate.global, is to foster innovative projects related to the UN Sustainable Development Goals in the target countries of the Austrian Development Agency. And we'll find out more today. And as such, I warmly also welcome you in the studio, Irene Fialka, CEO of INiTS. Hello.
Thanks for the invitation. Looking forward to.
Thanks for coming. Edith Michalewicz, Program Manager, Business Partnerships at the Austrian Development Agency. Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
Thanks for joining. Alexis Eremia, Managing Director at the Impact Hub Vienna. Hello.
Hi.
And Daviva Naidoro, he's African Region Partnership Lead at the Impact Hub Network. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Yeah, I mentioned it. There's a new program for startups, acceleration program to foster innovative projects related to the UN Sustainable Goals in the target countries of the Austrian Development Agency. Edith, maybe you can tell us more about the intention, why you set up this program.
Yes, thank you very much. So the Austrian Development Agency has a mandate to combat poverty, to ensure that peace and gender equality is a global matter, and to protect the environment. The private sector is a very important partner to make that a reality, and we have been working with the private sector for a very long time, and there's always been a lot of innovation coming, especially from the private sector. So now we want to make sure that even startups who usually don't have a lot of capital to do so are included in that endeavor.
So this was the intention of the program, and you are partnering with INiTS and the Impact Hub Vienna. Maybe you can tell us more why you are partnered together.
Yes, so we are happy to have both of that organizations on board because they bring technological innovations, but also a lot of experience with social innovations. So that coming together is very promising to make startups even more successful in their journey to reach the Sustainable Development Goals together.
Irene, INiTS has 20 years of experience in incubating high-tech startups. So what was your motivation to join this program?
Yeah, thanks for the question, a very important question. We have seen over the years that what was initially already part of our A+B Scale-Up program that we have run for 20 years now, sustainability, it was always a buzzword, so to speak. What we see now is that more and more technologies really aim at really becoming sustainable, supporting technologies. That's one part. The other part is there is more and more investors looking out for startups that have a very strong intellectual property on the one end, but also aim at global goals at the other on the other side. And the third part is more and more staff members or potential staff members, talent is also more and more looking out for startups or companies to work for who have global goals in their mindset, in their culture. And that's the reason why for us it's really interesting. We're so much looking forward to working together with Impact Hub, who brings in this impact know-how and us the technology know-how and supporting startups in that endeavor together, and also teaming up with Tapiva and ADA, really a great combination of diversity and diverse experience, I think.
We're gonna have a look at the program then afterwards. But as you mentioned, Irene, also the Impact Hub is bringing in some experience in this project. So what you're bringing in?
It's been already mentioned several times, our focus on impact. We've been starting 11 years ago in Vienna as the house, so to say, the go-to place for impact entrepreneurs and we've been fostering that ecosystem together with other partners, incubating, accelerating ventures, more than 500 ventures across this time in different impact areas. Of course, many of these impact areas can be layered over now the SDGs. The SDGs were not there when we started, but the impact areas that we've been looking at, being social or more environmental topics, have been part of our core business from the beginning. And I believe that this aspect of the collaboration with INiTS, with a strong focus on technology, and us with that strong focus and expertise in supporting impact entrepreneurs, can create the right synergies to bring really great solutions further. And more than that, in order to bring great solutions that actually achieve the right impact, we strongly believe that the collaboration with the target countries is very important. And here comes the second very important USP of Impact Hub, which is the network. We have more than 100 Impact Hubs around the globe. And particularly for this program and for the pilot stage, we decided together to focus on Africa. And that's why we already started the partnership with APIVA, who's coordinating in the global network the African hubs partnerships, because we have a strong belief that the right solutions are going to be found at the intersection of entrepreneurs from the region with entrepreneurs from Europe. There's so much that they can bring to each other, and only together they can have the impact in that context. And Impact Hub can offer not just the access and connectivity to the entrepreneurs in the region, but also the right startup environment in those countries for the entrepreneurs here to accelerate and find the right partners, the right understanding of that ecosystem.
And you work closely with the Global Impact Hub network. And Tabiva, a question to you, how you work together with startups, because you already have experience, you are based in Zimbabwe, how you work together with startups there?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm based here in Harare, Zimbabwe, in the capital. And, you know, I've been working with Impact Hub now for about just over 4 years. And it's been really interesting to see how our network is really growing within the region. We're now in 11 countries across Africa that span across all of the 4 key sub-regions, North, West, South, and East, and basically also covering areas of the Anglophone Africa, but also Francophone Africa. So it's nice to feel that sort of diverse representation within the network of Impact Hub coming up. And we've also been, very busy kind of innovating around different topics and working with the various local ventures. So for example, as you can imagine, over the past year, we've done a lot of work around COVID response and recovery programs. But also this year, we're sort of sprouting into the topic of circularity. We're working a lot on investment for local ventures as well as a lot of work around leadership within the region. So kind of touching a variety of different topics that might be interesting also in the context of this specific initiative, which we're really looking forward to collaborating with the other partners around.
Maybe you can give us a best practice example for working together with startups. Yeah, of course. So within the region, I think what we've realized is that, especially being across these different 11 countries, there are really different experiences that you have. Some ecosystems are more advanced than others. So in some cases, Impact Hub might be sort of the first space that's supporting local enterprises, whereas in other countries,
we might be, one of the only ones that's focusing specifically on social enterprise because there's so many other actors there. I think one of the sort of key best practices that I've found is just to ensure that all of the kind of support that we're delivering has sort of this localized context within which we can work. So sort of any solution or collaboration just like this one that might be, engaging partners from outside of the region has that local element coming into it as well. So I think this is one of the key things that we're really looking forward to within this program as well, engaging with the entrepreneurs from Austria and other parts of Europe and helping them to see and feel the context and the diversity of Africa and the different countries that we have within it. And yeah, I can say that, our local impact hubs and the ventures that they support seem really excited for this potential collaboration to happen.
Engaging with the Austrian entrepreneurs, I want to talk now more about how Austrian entrepreneurs can be part of this program. Irene, how you can apply for that?
Yeah, we will launch the application platform in the coming weeks.
Okay.
And startups can then apply. What we are looking out for is, like every other acceleration program, is the level of innovation, the likelihood of really scaling, in particular, of course, with respect to the target countries. Can Tabiva and his team, so to speak, see that very solution is really applicable and will create impact in the local ecosystem in the target countries? We will also evaluate the impact itself as part of the application process, and that's what we have done in so many years. And I think that's where we all bring in the experience. First, how to select and support, and to measure or foresee the impact that we can create. And this is how we are going to select the startups. In the first batch, we will focus on startups that are a little bit closer, just because it's easier to reach out to and get feedback, and also get feedback about the program itself. That's kind of our first batch. Is also a trial batch.
Lean methods.
Lean methodology also in doing our own program. Try out and then it impacting the target country and in the startup itself. So is it really also helping the startup, and can we use this collaboration to bring together entrepreneurial mindset in the target country and in Europe, in Austria?
We're going to talk about this measurement, about impact. It's a really interesting question a bit later. First, I want to know what the startups are getting.
What they are getting. Yeah. So first of all, they are going to get a deep understanding and a relationship with the countries. So we will have sessions where the Impact Hubs, part of the program in the region, are going to bring their community of entrepreneurs in the same online space with our entrepreneurs, European entrepreneurs, and introduce them, not just, like the usual, let's discuss about the type of legal entities you can start in here and all that sort of technical details, but very much through storytelling, very much through direct sharing of experiences from investors, from enablers, startup enablers, from entrepreneurs in that region, giving our entrepreneurs a sense of how that environment feels in the country that we will be in the countries that we will be focusing on. Part of that as well, we will create matchmaking so that the entrepreneurs in our program are going to find relevant counterparts already from the beginning in the region, and along this phase where they are, let's say, pre-journey to the target country, which is the last element, they will also have general acceleration support for their ideas to become more scalable, to become ready for investment, etc., where the entrepreneurs will be supported through coaching, mentoring, different workshops. But in the end of that phase, the entrepreneur will be able to choose one country as a test bed, and then we will support them also financially to go to this region, to the country of choice, and the Impact Hub there is going to give them the right support for them to test, validate, their solution together with the partners that they already found in that space.
So lots of support provided for the startups. Definitely, we also want to talk now about this impact measurement. What does impact measurement, which role plays it for the Austrian Development Agency in the project? So you have some criteria you have a look on.
Of course, it's very important to plan how to measure it already in the beginning, so before you actually start the project. So this has to be done, of course, together with all involved actors, so the local entrepreneurs in the target countries, but of course also with the initiators in Austria or other European countries. How, in the end, impact will roll out, that of course has to be tested, but you can only measure it if you already have a solid plan in the beginning. And yes, we want to reach, of course, as many people as possible with the social technological innovations.
I would add that there are two levels of impact, right, that we are looking at. On one side is the level of impact of the program, right? And then the key indicators are, of course, like the level of collaboration and the level of action, actually, solutions being tested in the country, number of partnerships created. On the other side, we can look at, and we do that with every entrepreneur that we are supporting, to look together at the impact that that solution will bring into the target region. And there the process is quite customized in that sense, but because every solution has to define its theory of change, and with that theory of change, the key impact indicators that they are going to look at, check, measure on the long run. So each of the ventures will have their defined theory of change and indicators that they will be measured against, and they will be part of their business plan. So every impact venture has impact part of their key elements inside that business plan, and they can show also how, while scaling, they scale not just their company and finances and so on, but they also scale the impact that goes along with it. So these are key elements that we are always looking at when working with the impact enterprise.
So lots of impact measurement included in the program as well. Daviva, you have lots of experience in the target country. Maybe you can give some advices for Austrian entrepreneurs. What are success criteria that a project is successful in future?
Yeah, so I think, within the target countries that we're going to be focusing on, as I mentioned, one of the key elements that we want to see happening is this kind of co-creation. Because on the local level, the entrepreneurs that we have within our network and generally within the region have their own solutions that they've been testing out already. Some have been successful and others not. But what will be helpful in this case is that they'll be able to collaborate with entrepreneurs from Austria and the rest of Europe who've already tested their own sort of theories locally and might have some ideas of how to translate those into the African context. So the meeting of those, two perspectives and two minds, in a sense, is what we hope to see kind of the most impact coming out of it. As Alexis mentioned, one of the great things about this particular program is that really intangible piece about the relationship building. So not only do we want to see sort of the solutions that will come up, but also to have more of this interaction between the local entrepreneurs and those from elsewhere. And hopefully that will sprout into not only single solutions, but multiple solutions generated not only throughout the program, but even sort of after the life of the program, which will also be, an outcome that we want to see in this case.
So cooperation and also collective action is also important as a success criteria. Irene, maybe you can also elaborate on that. Which role does this collective action approach play in this project?
Yeah, what we have always done is INiTS itself has developed what we call a collaborative business modeling.
Yeah.
So collaboration, different points of view has always been an issue in our programs. That's one part of it. The other part is nobody can do it alone. Yeah? Usually what we have in the engineers that develop technologies, not only in Austria, in Europe in general, but also everywhere in the world, they usually have the technologies are well in place. They know everything about the technology. What they don't know is how to really bring it into different markets that they don't know, that they are not used to. So usually it's the home turf they know well, and usually the technologies work well in their own environment, in Austria, in Europe. Yet the question always remains, how do we really scale this globally, and how do we bring impact really everywhere, because it's all the SDGs are global. Yeah, Europe alone cannot solve that. Yeah, we need the collaboration with the entire world, and this is really what it is all about. And we need that know-how that Tabiva and his team and the entrepreneurs have, because they look at it from a different angle. And only if we bring it all together, I think we can scale that startup, we can scale the impact, and we can scale the collaboration and the community.
Definitely. So there is this collaboration approach as well. Maybe also one question, Alexis, to you. What are the main challenges that this project will be successful?
Of course, collaboration, as much as is a great thing, is not always easy, right? We have like different continents, we have different kinds of organizations. So finding together the right voice, the right approaches in the right time, it will in a short period. In that sense, it's always a challenge. But we are taking, as you mentioned as well before, like we are taking a lean approach, and we are happy that ADA as well looks at it in a similar way. So we start a bit smaller, we start in few countries, and then the vision of the program is much larger, right? We want to engage not just entrepreneurs, but also different kind of players, corporates, any other type of European partners that are also interested in supporting the development of solutions for the Sustainable Development Goals. So a big challenge as well is how to bring in other players, more established players as well, as innovation. It's great at its core of like startup, but of course we know from experience that having larger organizations can support the acceleration and the scale of these solutions. So looking ahead, we will have a challenge of how to bring in more players, and how do we create not just a program, but how do we develop from this program an actual ecosystem of support between the regions that can continuously give without necessarily a programmatic activity, would be there in place in order for different players at different points in time to just enter the system and get that connection, get that support. So these are some of the elements that...
These are the main elements.
Can I also add something?
Definitely.
Because I think our initial goal right from the beginning was also establish the program in a sustainable way. And I think really ADA is an amazing partner to really kick it off with, and they are willing to keep going also later on. But they help us now to really, establish it, develop everything, the program itself, starting the community. But in the end, it must survive as a program, as a community, beyond the financial support of ADA. And I think that's also a challenge that we are aware of right from the beginning also. And that's also where we are going to reach out to other players who are interested in supporting us in that way. Yeah.
You mentioned now the funding. I also want to give this question to Edith. How much money is involved in this project from the ADA?
ADA supports the program with about €1.5 million with a project duration of 3 years. So yes, as it has already been mentioned, it's a quite tight schedule with a lot of goals to reach also for the program itself. But we are very much looking forward and happy to support.
Definitely. Just to sum it up as well, maybe Irene, you can give us some details how you can participate as an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur, you must have a technology ready to be used, because we have run A+B Scale-Up for in a while, and there the focus is really on early stage startups, so helping entrepreneurs to develop the technologies. In this case is really technologies that have been developed already, ready to be used, just like we do it at Health Hub Vienna, because the problem is really reaching out into the market. The technological solutions are there always, and everything can be solved. But the problem is, how do we bring it to the target audience and create the impact? Yeah? So that's one thing we look at a little bit later stage. So this is also where we, for our early stage startups, create another benefit, because those who create impact and those who are interested in that program, in those target regions, it's kind of a follow-on support that we can give our startups, our alumni from the A+B Scale-Up program. And the second thing is, fill in all the questions that we will have in the application form, but also do an impact self-assessment as part of the application phase. And then we are going into the evaluation. We will select about 10 startups to join the first program, and from there on, as Alexis said, we will first evaluate what kind of target markets could there be for those, and then select those target markets partners via the network in Africa to support the startups to really go there and enter and make the impact and create it in real life, so to speak.
Perfect. And if startups are now interested, all the information is provided on the website of ADA and Impact Hub and INiTS, or?
Yeah, we are working lean. The website is in creation already.
In creation, perfect.
So it will be available on the website. Yeah, we are still working out the entire process also.
Yeah, it will be available, of course, in all the websites, but it will have a website on its own. So
perfect.
We will create a particular, like a special website for this program. It's in process. In the meantime, just Google validate.global, and it will take you to the right.
And as soon as it pops up, you will see it.
Exactly. Keep Googling.
Keep Google, Google it every day.
And we will cover it as Brutkasten anyway, so you will find all the details here. So. Edith, Irene, Alexis, thank you for joining here in the studio. Viva, thank you for joining us from Zimbabwe. It was a pleasure Really interesting project, and I wish you all the best in this meaning of collaboration and collective action to have some impact. Thank you very much for listening and watching our Brutkasten-Talk. All the best. See you next time. Bye-bye.